Verve 102, the most important trial of 2026, and why it's also kind of ridiculous. One IV, one letter. We're cooking now. There are people walking around right now who won the genetic lottery. They were born with a tiny mutation that broke a single protein in their body, and because of that mutation, they now have low LDL cholesterol for their entire lives. And this is the part that matters, they have dramatically lower rates of heart attacks. Their bodies just don't accumulate cardiovascular risk the way the rest of ours do. They didn't earn it, they didn't work for it, they just got handed it at birth like a free upgrade nobody ordered. Some of us pay for the premium subscription, they were born with the lifetime account. Scientists found these people about 20 years ago, and ever since, we've been trying to figure out how to give the rest of us that same advantage, because we are nothing if not committed to closing the gap on people who lucked into being healthier than the rest of us. On May 25th, just a few weeks ago in the New England Journal of Medicine, we got our first real answer. But first, a quick personal note for context. I got a CCTA, that's a coronary CT angiogram with clearly AI overlay, a high-definition scan of my heart's arteries. At age 61, mine showed some heart disease, enough to be seriously concerned. I also have elevated lipoprotein A, or Lp(a) as it's called, and ApoB, both strong independent predictors of heart disease. My mom had her first heart attack in her 50s, so here's the rub. I'm in amazing shape, I've lived a very active Spartan lifestyle my entire life, and still, my genetics are actively trying to kill me. So this is not abstract for me. My cardiologist and I are treating this aggressively with the goal of me not dying from a heart attack or a stroke anytime soon. So far, so good. Now back to the story. So this amazing drug breakthrough is called Verve 102. One IV infusion, 4 hours, done. The data is genuinely jaw-dropping. I want to talk you through what happened, why the technology behind it is the actual story, what it means for the bigger picture, including the slightly absurd one, and what you do with this right now, even though the drug is years away. The data. The trial is called Heart-2, 35 patients, all of them at high cardiovascular risk, either with a genetic condition called familial hypercholesterolemia or with premature coronary artery disease, which is a clinical way of saying their heart was failing them young. Single IV infusion of Verve 102, 6 dose levels. At the highest dose, the target protein, PCSK9, dropped by 88%. LDL cholesterol dropped by 62%. In absolute terms, that's a 78 milligram per deciliter reduction. That's better than what most people get from a max dose statin. And here's the part that bends your brain. They followed these patients for up to 18 months. The LDL stayed low, no drift, no rebound, no booster shot. The edit was permanent. The body just accepted it, like a house guest who showed up, fixed the plumbing, and left. The safety? No serious adverse events, no dose-limiting toxicities, mild infusion reactions, transient liver enzyme bumps, 1 case of aspiration pneumonia in someone who already had reflux. Everyone completed the trial, everyone got the full dose. Phase 2 begins next year. Now, let me show you how this works and why, in my opinion, I think it's kind of beautiful. The vacuum cleaners and the jerk. So here's the situation inside your liver. Your liver cells have these molecular vacuum cleaners on their surface called LDL receptors. Their entire job is to pull bad cholesterol out of your blood. The more of those vacuums you have running, the lower your blood cholesterol stays. It's pretty simple. The problem is a protein called PCSK9, which, by the way, sounds less like a protein and more like a Wi-Fi password. Anyway, PCSK9's job is to find your vacuum cleaners and destroy them. And why does your body do this to you? Honestly, evolution did not see Doritos coming. In a world where cholesterol was scarce, PCSK9 was actually being helpful, preserving a precious resource. In our world, with drive-thrus, 80-year-old lifespans, jobs that involve sitting on our asses, it's actually killing us. Coronary artery disease is the #1 cause of death on the planet. Over 300 million people. We are losing this fight in real time, and the body's defense is essentially, well, what if we made it worse? That genetic lottery I mentioned at the top, those people were born with a broken PCSK9 gene. The villain never showed up to work. Their vacuums kept running. Their cholesterol stayed low. Their hearts kept working. Verve 102 does the same thing, except instead of being born with it, you can get it from an IV. The drug goes into your liver, finds the PCSK9 gene, and rewrites a single letter of DNA. That one change inserts a stop signal in the genetic instructions. Your cell tries to read the recipe for PCSK9, hits the stop sign, and never makes the protein. The villain gets, in technical scientific terminology, fired. That's it. That's the whole intervention. One letter. Now here's why the tech is breathtaking. And here's where I want to slow down, because this is the part I find genuinely beautiful. You've probably heard of CRISPR. CRISPR-Cas9 won the Nobel Prize in 2020. Original CRISPR works like a pair of molecular scissors. It cuts both strands of your DNA at a specific spot, and your cell scrambles to repair it. It's revolutionary, powerful, but also kind of violent, biologically speaking. Sometimes repair is messy. Sometimes there are unintended consequences. Cutting both strands of your genetic code is, to put it mildly, a vibe shift for your cell. Verve 102 doesn't use scissors, it uses something called base editing. And the metaphor that I want you to hold on to is this: it's a molecular spell checker. Your DNA is written in a 4-letter alphabet, A, T, G, and C. A base editor finds one specific letter in one specific spot in your 3 billion letter genome and changes just that one letter. An A becomes a G without ever cutting the DNA. It nicks one strand, swaps one letter, and your cell barely notices. We just performed surgery on a single character in a 3 billion character book without tearing a page. That is wild. We are now editing the source code of the human body, and the body is, frankly, taking it well. But here's the part that is actually more impressive than the editor itself: the delivery system. Think about it. If I told you that I had the most precise sniper rifle ever built, but no way to aim it, the rifle is useless. And gene editing has had this exact problem for years. We could edit DNA in a petri dish. We didn't have a way to ship the editor to the right cells inside an actual living, breathing human. Verve 102 solves that. The editor is packaged inside a tiny fat bubble, a lipid nanoparticle, decorated with a sugar molecule called GalNAc, spelled G-A-L-N-A-C. Liver cells have a receptor that specifically grabs GalNAc, so the drug goes into your bloodstream, your liver cells vacuum it up, and everything else ignores it. Not your brain, not your heart, not your muscle, not your reproductive cells. You don't pass this on to your children, which is good because your children didn't ask for this. And that's the real breakthrough: targeted delivery of programmable editing to a specific organ in a living human. Liver today, brain, heart, immune system, muscle, eventually coming to a theater near you. Now, the Big Pharma intermission. I'm going to pause here because I know some of you are doing something with your face. The drug is made by Eli Lilly. Big Pharma. Cue the comment section. Look, I get it, okay? Pharmaceutical industry has earned a lot of skepticism. Insulin pricing, the opioid crisis, PR campaigns that age like milk. That distrust isn't manufactured, it's earned. But here's the cognitive move that I'd like you to practice with me, because we're going to need it a lot in the next decade. Two things can be true at the same time. The system can have real problems, and the science it produces can be genuinely good. You're allowed to be angry at the price of insulin, and grateful that insulin exists. You're allowed to think Lilly will charge too much for Verve 102, and think the trial is one of the most important medical results of the decade. These are not opposing votes, they're separate ballots. The trap a lot of people fall into is letting their suspicion of the industry override their ability to read the evidence. The science here is good. The trial was clean. The data was independently published in the most rigorous medical journal in the world. Eli Lilly didn't pay me. They don't even know that I exist, which is quite honestly a little hurtful. I'm reading the paper and I'm reporting what's in it. Be skeptical of the system, but be honest about the data. 2 ballots. Cast them both. Okay, moving on. 2 roads to the future. Now, I want to zoom out because cholesterol is one of 2 parallel revolutions happening in biology right now. You need both in your head. Call it the hardware track and the software track. The hardware track, gene editing, CRISPR, base editing, prime editing, tools that go into the genome and rewrite the letters of DNA. Permanent, discrete, you're editing the source code. Verve 102 is the hardware track in action. Permanent, targeted, addresses one specific gene, great for fixing single broken genes, for reducing lifelong risk factors, for one-and-done interventions. The software track, epigenetic reprogramming, different beast. The quick version, in 2006, a Japanese scientist named Shinya Yamanaka discovered that you could take an adult cell, say a skin cell, and by adding just 4 specific proteins, you could rewind it back to a young embryonic-like state. 4 proteins. He won the Nobel Prize in 2012. We call them the Yamanaka factors. The wild part? The Yamanaka factors don't change a single letter of DNA. The DNA stays the same. What changes is the epigenome, the chemical marks sitting on top of your DNA that decide which genes get read and which get ignored. Aging, as it turns out, is largely an epigenetic process. As you get older, these marks drift. Your cells start reading the wrong instructions, and the system starts breaking down. You don't get old because your DNA changed, you get old because your DNA started getting read wrong. The dream of partial epigenetic reprogramming is to reset that clock without erasing the cell's identity. Take an old liver cell and make it behave like a young liver cell. Billion-dollar companies are working on this right now. Altos Labs being the most famous, partly because of the people involved, and partly because Jeff Bezos is one of them. So here are your 2 roads. Number 1, gene editing. Precise, permanent, one and done. Fixes specific broken parts. Verve 102 is the proof of concept. Number 2, epigenetic reprogramming. Reversible, tunable, systemic. Addresses aging itself, not one disease at a time, but the engine driving most of them. Both are real, both are coming. The next decade of biology will be defined by how fast each one matures and how they combine. The bridge. Let's talk about the bridge. This is the part I actually care about the most. There's a concept in longevity science called longevity escape velocity. The idea is simple. If medical progress can add more than 1 year of healthy life expectancy per year that passes, then on a long enough timeline, you outrun mortality. Not by being immortal, but because the technology keeps adding years faster than the clock takes them away. And I want to address something here because every time I talk about this, someone in the comments section says some version of, who wants to live to be 200? I don't even want to live till Thursday. And I hear you, honestly, it's a fair comment. Most days, I'm not particularly thrilled about Thursday either, but that comment misunderstands the goal, so let me be direct about it. The goal is not 200 years of being a husk in a hospital bed watching reruns. The goal is more good years, more years of being able to move, think, work, love, and do the things that make life worth being in. If we extend a lifespan without extending health span, we're just running up the score on suffering, and we're already pretty good at that without help. Longevity escape velocity isn't about immortality. It's about not dying of preventable, mechanistic, boring causes before you've gotten to do what you came here to do. It's about staying healthy enough, long enough for the next breakthrough to land. And then the next, and then the next. Verve 102 is one plank in that bridge, a real one. If this drug holds up in phase 2 and phase 3, and I want to be really careful here because phase 1B is only 35 people and 18 months of follow-up. It's not a victory lap, but if it holds up, cardiovascular mortality in developed countries could bend in a way that it hasn't since statins arrived in the 1980s. That's not nothing, that's years of health span added to a lot of lives. And the platform underneath this, the targeted delivery, the base editing, the gene-by-gene precision, doesn't stop at PCSK9. Verve already has a second program in trials. Other companies are building toward muscle preservation, neurodegeneration, cancer immunotherapy. The pipeline is wide and getting wider. Most people scrolled past this story last month. We're not most people. So here's a question I need you to ponder. What do you actually do with this today? So you can't get Verve 102 right now, it's still years away, and the temptation is to file this under cool future stuff and then move on. Don't do that. There's an action layer here. Number 1, know your numbers. If you don't know your LDL, find out. It's a simple blood test. Your doctor wants to do it. They have been begging you to do this. Let them have this. If you want to go a level deeper, ask about ApoB, Lp(a). Those are better predictors of risk than LDL alone. Most people who have heart attacks didn't know they were at risk. Don't be most people. Number 2, know your family history. If a parent or grandparent had cardiovascular disease before age 60, your risk is materially higher. Familial hypercholesterolemia affects about 1 in 200 people. A lot of them have no idea they have it. So have that awkward Thanksgiving conversation. Number 3, use the drugs that exist now. Statins, PCSK9 inhibitor injections, inclisiran, which is dosed just twice a year. These all work. Yes, they are made by Big Pharma. Yes, they are saving lives anyway. The cosmic irony of refusing a life-saving statin because you're worried about Big Pharma is that you'd be giving Big Pharma the last laugh. Don't give them that. And 4, adopt a bridge mindset. Every choice that you make about your health right now is a choice about whether you're standing on the bridge when the next plank lands. Sleep, strength, cardiovascular fitness, stress, the unsexy fundamentals are still the foundation. The frontier tech is the multiplier. You need both. You cannot biohack your way out of not sleeping. You cannot CRISPR your way out of a sedentary life. Not yet anyway. Maybe in 2040, but don't bet on it. So here's the close. Verve 102 isn't really a cholesterol drug. It's the proof of a platform, the most precise tool humans have built for modifying biology, paired with a delivery system that can aim it at specific tissues. The cholesterol drop is the demo. The platform is the breakthrough. We're building toward longevity escape velocity. We're optimizing peak performance now, we're mitigating the diseases that end lives early, and we're trying not to take ourselves too seriously while doing it. That's the work. Now, if you enjoyed this content, I really appreciate your time. I hope that you would subscribe, like, and share. It helps build the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.